Some claim we are on the cusp of a recession. Others claim we are in a recession. So what exactly defines a recession? What is it? Are we in one? Should you be worried? All of those questions will be answered by Marcus Warren of Warren Wealth Management. Marcus, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I'll always love having you on. He doesn't mind if I throw anything at him. He'll answer, and because I thought this would be appropriate, because we do hear a lot on the news and all these economists and experts and people who look into the future, that little, crystal ball, and they say some say we're in a recession.
Yeah.
Some say all the indicators are we're on the way to a recession. So I guess my first question is, Marcus, what exactly is a recession?
Well, it's interesting. Number one, it's this trifecta now of almost bad economic news, right? Because we started off with the bear market, right? The market dropped 20%. And then, of course, the high inflation. We've had, record inflation, 40-year highs. And now we have this talk of a recession. So it's the trifecta, if you will. And so not a good trifecta, by the way. So what a recession is, it's basically 2 quarters or 6 months of economic downturn in the U.S. And that's measured with gross domestic product. Now, technically, we've had 2 straight quarters or 6 straight months of economic downturn. So technically, the way that it's written, yes, we are at least in a recession, but what they say is, okay, we know what the technicals say, we know what the numbers say, but they don't declare that we're in a recession until the National Bureau of Economic Research says so, or the administration says so. So although the numbers indicate it, no one has declared it yet, if that makes any sense.
Oh, no, it does make sense. I think sometimes it depends on what side of the political fence you're on, because, of course, there are some who are going to defend us right now, and others will say, no, look what's happened to our economy. And I do see some positive indicators out there as well, but I think, as you said, I think the majority of indications are we're heading in the wrong direction for now. Could it actually start going in the other direction, in a positive direction, Marcus? Well,
it's like this. The reason that the experts are slow to declare a recession, one is it doesn't look good for any administration that's in there for political reasons. But we're at full employment. Unemployment is at historical lows, and there has never been a recession when we've had full employment. So, if we are headed that way, this would be unprecedented. And so, that's why there's so many, mixed messages out there, depending on who you listen to, as far as if we're headed towards a recession or not. And so, I always say you need to focus on your own personal economy, because even when the economy is booming, some people could be in a personal recession, although the economy could be in a recession and someone may be thriving. So I always say, just let's focus on your personal economy, because that's what matters most.
All right, interesting. So let's do that. Warren Wealth Management. So for folks who are at or near retirement age, should they be worried in this current era of the recession is in the balance? Should they be worried?
Well, it's like this. There's generally 4 things that you need to focus on during a recession, if we're headed for a recession, whether you are retired, close to retirement, or far away from retirement. And the first thing that you should do is you should beef up your savings. You need to make sure that you have some sort of emergency fund, because if we do head towards a recession, do you have 1 month of expenses if you were to lose your job, 2 months of expenses? And generally, when we're talking about an emergency fund, we're talking about, most experts say, 6 months worth of expenses, which you should have. So I would definitely try to focus on making sure that you have your savings beefed up. The second thing is paying down some debt. If you have credit card debt, high interest debt, of course, if you can pay some of that down, that frees up money for other expenses. The third thing that you could do is, people hate to hear the B word, which is budget, but make sure that you have a solid, sustainable budget. You have your needs versus your wants. Maybe you cut out some of those wants, put those to the side, focus on what you need right now, have that budget written down, and then you should be fine. And then the last thing is, if you are still in the job market, you want to, I say, recession-proof your job or recession-proof your career. You can do that by, number one, updating the resume, just in case you do lose your job, learning new marketable skills. maybe even looking to get some sort of side hustle, side job, something like that. But those are some things that we generally recommend, if we're headed towards the direction of a recession.
Okay, is there, and I'm looking for a positive here, and there may not be one. Is there something? Is there any opportunity available? Usually, whenever there's a downturn in any kind of economic situation, it's like, okay, there's opportunity for folks out there. Is there opportunity out there, Mark?
Yes. Whenever there's a crisis, so to speak, I wouldn't say that we're in it's a crisis situation, but whenever there's a downturn, there's always opportunity, right? And so, if you are still working and have your job, and the market is down, we may or may not have a recession. It's a good time to continue to buy into the stock market, right? The market is low right now. You're in essence buying low, so there's opportunity there. There's always opportunity, even from a business standpoint, to get refocused, reposition your business. So when we do come out of a recession, number one, I'm acting like we're already in one, but it hasn't been declared yet. But if we are headed that way and we do hit a recession, these things ebb and flow. So eventually we will dig ourselves out of whatever hole we're in, and then the best thing to do if you have a business is to position yourself for that eventual upturn. I
know you're all about education at Warren Wealth Management, educating your clients to make decisions that are responsible, smart, intelligent decisions. And you have this program, LaunchPad, that can help with that, right? What's LaunchPad all about?
Yeah, so I flick through the channels every now and again, and I watch your show every now and again, and I see that you have other financial advisors and things of that that nature on, and sometimes it makes me feel a certain way, John. I think, oh,
you feel like I thought, on you?
Yeah, a little bit. I get a little jealousy there, but I know you got a job to do, and that's the way things go. But
I love you, Mark.
But most of these advisors, they have minimums, right? Account minimums, and at Warren Wealth we have an account minimum too, but I'm a man of the people, right? I'm a man of the people. Inclusivity, you know what I mean? I want to expand my outreach. And so what we've done is we've created LaunchPad. So you go to launchpadinvestor.com. It is for people who, number one, there's no account minimum. It's for people who are starting investing. Maybe you're mid-career, you're in that accumulation phase, but it's our platform where you can open your account online, a Roth, an IRA, a regular account. We have ETFs and certain investments that are available. If you're a stock investor, and you want individual stocks, this platform is not for you. We want to focus on good quality investments that will help investors get from where they are to where they want to be. The good thing is that you still have access to our advisory team because there is a financial planning component of it. So it's not just a do-it-yourself platform. You do have access if you have questions about a budget, if you have questions about just retirement planning in general. You do have access to our team of advisors, but like I said, I want to be a man of the people, John. Extend that outreach, and LaunchPad, that's the platform to go to. Okay, so LaunchPad, is it launchpad.com? Is that it? LaunchPadinvestor.com.
Okay, and again, informed decisions, okay, intelligent decisions.
Yes.
If you have the education, then of course, then you can look at something and weigh it out correctly. So I like this. I like it. Man of the people.
Man of the people.
Marcus.
That's
okay.
it.
If you like the information that you're getting here, and lots of folks do, then we encourage you to call Marcus. A 15-minute conversation. Okay, you're going to find out if you're a good fit for them, if they're a good fit for you, that kind of thing. So how does it work, Marcus? Tell them again.
Yeah, so if you are in retirement, close to retirement, a year or two out, we do have the talktomarcus.com. You can go there, or my calendar pulls up. We can find out where you are, where you want to be, see if we're a good fit, and if we feel that we can work with each other, then we'll schedule an in-person meeting, and we'll go from there and see how we can help.
A lot of variables going on. I want to circle back to the recession thing.
Yeah.
You professionally, I think because there hasn't really been a precedent to these kind of times. You've got what's going on in Ukraine. You've got, of course, supply shortage, that kind of thing. You had COVID that kind of weighed into things, and it's all catching up to us now. In your professional opinion, as you look out, Are you optimistic moving forward, or do you feel like, okay, going to be some tough times, time to button down the hatch? What are your thoughts?
I always say I try to remain optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic. And so, yes, there are a lot of things that have contributed to where we are today from an economic standpoint. And we have had those two down quarters, right, that signal a recession. And you are right. There's we have 40-year high inflation. We're in a bear market. Supply chain issues. There's a war in Ukraine. There's a lot of things going on. And, you look at the tea leaves. If you read those tea leaves, it doesn't bode well from, where we're moving from an economic standpoint. However, the one thing that is still out there is the fact that we have low unemployment. We are a fully employed country right now. And, there are jobs that are out there. There are labor shortages, meaning that the supply is out there. There's just not enough people to fill a lot of those roles, and so that's a good indicator. There have been layoffs around some of these sectors that are taking a hit, but overall, it's a little shaky, but I try to remain cautiously optimistic.
I like that. And if you love this information, want more of it, your podcast available on all platforms. Marcus, how do they find it?
All platforms, The Marcus Warren Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. We give solid, good, timely information. Try to be entertaining also. It's infotainment, if you will. But a lot of good information about retirement, finance, economic activity. All things.
All right. Once again, Marcus Warren, Warren Wealth Management. Call for that 15-minute consultation if he's a good fit for you. Really good information. I love the fact unfiltered. It's always like, hey, John, throw anything at me. I will answer it. And I thought today's answers, I love what you're saying. Cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Yes. And the experts are not saying we're in a recession quite yet.
Not yet. You're right.
Not yet. All right. Coming up here, I'll tell you what really looks good. Coming up is the